Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I hope you're doing well. I recorded the following audio a few weeks ago, right before my surgery. But post surgery, I've just been trying to take it easy, trying to rest. So today was the day when I was finally able to edit it. Alhamdulillah, my surgery went well, in case anyone was wondering. But yeah, I hope you enjoy this episode. And then there were a lot of feelings of anger too, I'm not gonna lie. There was a feeling of anger and frustration with God and with the universe. Like, why me? Why is this happening? And then there were also feelings like, okay, anger at myself. Like, you could have been more careful. You could have put the needle somewhere safer. You could have, I don't know, just vacuumed the carpet more often, and all these thoughts. My mind was trying to find a reasoning of why this happened, and my mind was running wild. I remember thinking, did this happen because I talked to this distant aunt and she never really calls me, but she only called me this one time, and she asked me for Eid photos the week before, and she always gives like weird vibes, and my mom is always afraid of her nazar, which is evil eye. So I kept thinking like, oh, so my mom was right and she gave me evil eye, and this, she did this, that's why this is happening. And then another thought was, a few days before this incident happened, I was going to the gym and I saw this person. I remember he was using a walker to walk with support, and I remember thinking like, oh wow, I'm so grateful and so blessed to have full mobility where I'm walking really fast heading home. I need to be home in the next few minutes for my meeting, and I can walk fast and I can make it. And this person is having trouble. So I took a moment of gratitude even then, like, okay, thank you God for giving me healthy legs and for helping me just reach my apartment in a timely manner. Like, it's a small thing, but to someone it's a very big thing, especially someone who's faced those challenges in their lives. So I had that moment of gratitude, but maybe the universe saw that, and maybe God thought that, oh, I was boasting and I was being too proud, and I don't know. I had these crazy ideas and crazy reasonings behind why this whole thing happened. Another thought that I had, I remember thinking, so that day when this incident happened, it was a very interesting and fun day in itself, because that morning I woke up, went to work, and had a quick chat with a colleague, and he told me he had biked to work that day, and I was like, oh my gosh, I love biking, but I haven't biked in a while. I think last time I biked was like a few months ago, and I biked after a decade when I did that. So that made me realize how much I enjoyed it and how much I missed it. So he told me that, oh yeah, I just rode a bike to work, and I was like, oh my gosh, can I check it out? And I went outside to the parking lot and took it for a round and had so much fun, and I got so motivated. I was like, okay, I need a bike. Like, I need to be outdoors. This is something I enjoy. And during lunch break the same day, now I'm looking up bikes on Facebook Marketplace, and I find this really sweet deal, and I messaged the seller and I was like, I can come anytime today. And I went there after work. I checked out the bike. I tried it out. I liked it. I got it. As soon as I put it in my car, a few minutes later, I received a message from a friend who, by the way, had told me that she enjoys biking too. So anytime I think about biking, I should consider her. So she messaged me, and I'm like, okay, this is destiny. Like, this whole thing is meant to be. I am meant to go on a bike ride today. So I made like impromptu plans with her right then and there, and we met after an hour, and we had such an amazing time biking. She had this electric scooter. She didn't have a bike at that time, but both of us had a really great time. I mean, she fell and injured herself, but it wasn't too bad. And we also kind of laughed in the moment, and it was a really fun hangout. And while I was biking, my mind kept telling me like, be careful, one wrong step and you're going to injure yourself, and then you're going to miss gym and you're going to miss your routine. Because I had a really bad injury last year around this time. I had a whiplash injury, which really, as I said, made me fully dependent on others. And after that experience, I've just been overly cautious anytime I'm outside or doing any activity. I really take care of myself, and I'm like, okay, I don't want to get injured, because then I'm like fully dependent on people, and I don't have too many people around. Like, I have friends, but everyone is busy in their lives. They still come up and help me, not gonna lie. I mean, I just didn't want to be injured again, so I was being careful because of that. And so I remember biking with this friend that day and thinking like, okay, be careful. We don't want to get injured. Remember what happened last time, blah, blah, blah. And as the bike ride ended, I took a sigh of relief, and I was just in my head, I was like thanking myself, like, good job. Thank you for being cautious, and good job. Look at you. You didn't get injured. Yay. I was just like super happy that day, because I was like, I did not expect my Friday to turn out this way. And it was just like an impromptu, crazy, fun day. And as soon as I entered home, I was like, okay, now I'm fully safe. Now I can just be, and I'll just have dinner and I'll just go to sleep. I changed into my PJs and I walked towards my bed, which is when the needle went in my foot. So Moral of the story, you're never safe. I'm not trying to instill a sense of fear, but I think what I'm trying to say is this is life. Life is going to throw curveballs like this all the time, whether you're safe sitting in your bedroom, whether you're outside on a hike, whether you're doing some activity with a friend. Life is always going to throw curveballs at you. Otherwise, it would be too boring. And that's just life. It cannot just stay steady, and it cannot be the same all the time. It is meant to go up and down. And what matters the most is your attitude when it goes down and up. I think during both times, one thing that should stay consistent is gratitude. We should always have gratitude, especially when we have so many great things happening, and also when we have terrible things happening. I bet you can find a silver lining even in that. I'm not trying to invalidate your difficult emotions at that time. It is a shitty situation to be in, and it sucks. I mean, excuse my language, but that's what it's supposed to be. Even in that, if you can find moments of joy, then I think you have cracked the code. So in these past few days, I had a lot of moments of reflections. I had a lot of life lessons, but something that really stood out to me and was probably the most profound lesson that I got was when I was having a meltdown and crying, and I remember feeling angry and also disappointed and really hurt with God, where I was like, Allah knows that I love being independent. He knows that's like one of the most important things for me in my life. And then he continues to test me on that. Like last year I had the whiplash injury and I was completely dependent, and then this year this happened and now I'm completely dependent. So I just had these really big feelings of anger and honestly a lot of hurt, that why would he keep testing me on something which I love so much? Why would he keep taking away something from me which I love so much? And I was having this conversation while crying with a friend who said something which really stuck to me. She said, okay, God tests you on things you love the most. And if I really think about it, that is 100% true. I absolutely love being physically active. And I think I keep getting tested on that. Because if it was a test on something that I don't even care about, it wouldn't even feel like a test because I don't value that thing. So he has to test me on something that I value. And it made so much sense. And then another friend I was having a chat with, she was like, okay, you need to sit with your thoughts and you need to ask yourself, what is it that I can learn from this experience? What is the universe and God trying to tell me? Are they trying to tell me to slow down and take care of myself? Are they trying to tell me to let go of control? Because I think I like things being a certain way, and that cannot always happen. And I think I need to learn to accept that. So after doing a lot of reflection and thinking on these things, there are a bunch of things that I learned from this experience. But first and foremost, I learned that the healthcare in US really sucks. I would always hear that from other people, but I thought, oh, maybe they're saying this because, with your primary care, you get an appointment after like 4 or 5 months. Sure, that sucks. But I did not have an idea of how much it sucks until I went to the ER and waited for several hours only to be told like, it's no biggie. You can live with a needle in your foot. So I think that was very disappointing. And also the fact that the doctors there had zero compassion. I think the doctor that I was talking at the second ER, the bar for like a good doctor at the ER was so low at that point because the first doctor at the ER didn't even make eye contact, didn't even like talk to me, greet me. And this doctor sat down and was talking to me, looking straight in my eyes. I was like, oh, this seems like a nice doctor, until the words came out of his mouth, which were so insensitive, rude, and completely minimized my pain and had zero sense of empathy and compassion. I understand these doctors are probably seeing hell in ERs, probably see like really bad cases. But I think having compassion is something that they shouldn't lose out on. Maybe that's their coping mechanism. They detach and they have zero compassion. But on just a human to human level, I expected some level of compassion, which I didn't get. And the healthcare system here is ruthless. Like the first visit to ER, I had to pay $1,000, and probably for the second one, I'm going to get billed the same. So I don't know how I'm going to afford all of these expensive treatments, but that's just what I needed in the moment, and I had to prioritize my health at that point. I think my first lesson is healthcare actually really sucks, and I am extremely sorry to every single person who has to go through this. So this experience taught me empathy for everyone who's struggling with health issues in America. I am sorry you have to go through this terrible healthcare system and get treated in a way which makes you feel like you're not even a human being. I'm sorry you have to go through that. I think second lesson I learned was no one can live by themselves. This may sound controversial. Some people may not take my word for it, sure. But I think no one can live by themselves. I think every single person needs community. I'm not saying that you're not enough for yourself. You are. But accidents happen, life happens, and you need community. And it makes your life beautiful and makes you laugh in even painful moments. I remember laughing all night at the ER the first time that I went, cracking jokes and catching up with friends. And in that moment, had I been there by myself, I would have been in so much pain that would be the only thing I would have been able to focus on. But because of the group that I was with, I was able to laugh even in those painful moments. So I'm so grateful for that. I think having a community is key. Number 3, I think gratitude. As I said, gratitude is the way to go. You cannot take anything for granted, for sure. Make sure you take out a few moments every single day and just be grateful for all the things that you might take for granted, like a physically fit and healthy body, a healthy mind, a safe space to live in, food to eat, clean water to drink, sunlight, looking at the beautiful clouds, nature, family, friends, loved ones. There's just too much to be grateful for. So I think this experience did give me perspective on that. Not that I wasn't grateful before, but it made me want to be intentionally grateful more often. Like, take out a few moments and just be intentionally grateful for everything and every single small blessing I have in my life. Number 4, it made me realize that health, fitness, life, this journey is never going to be linear. I need to be strong enough when life goes through its ups and downs. I'm able to withstand those experiences, especially when it comes to health. Like, health is never going to look linear because you have some control over it where you can take care of yourself and you're physically fit. And I would like to think I was doing that, but then a lot of it is out of your control. And if you think of it on a bigger scale, nothing is in your control. Control is an illusion. This doesn't mean you stop working hard for your goals and you stop having goals because everything is written. I think you still have goals, you still keep working hard, but then if you have any failures and if you experience any misfortune, just accept it and take your learning from it, take your lessons from it, and keep on moving. So I think I learned that. And then, as my friend was saying, just remember that you are always going to be tested on the things you love the most. So I'm not saying stop loving things, but just be prepared. And if you see a pattern, that's probably because you value something, and then you are going to be tested on something of value. And I hope that we all pass these tests and it helps us become more resilient and strong and wise and make us the person that we are. I also learned that we need to define new normals anytime we're going through sickness or injury. We cannot expect to hold ourselves to the same standards as we would when we were healthy. That just doesn't make sense. Like, now that I've been hopping around on one foot, it doesn't make sense for me to clean apartment because it's Friday and Friday's cleaning day. And no, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for me to go to the gym 4 times a week because I literally cannot. So I have to define new normals in my routine now. I just have to accept that and be okay with it. And I also have to stop beating myself for not meeting my normal standards because I am not in a normal situation at the time. I mean, there is a needle in my foot, if anyone forgot. So I think those were some of the lessons that I learned. I'm sure as life goes on and I reflect on this experience more, I'm going to have more lessons to share. But so far, this is all that I can think of. And for those of you who are listening to this, I hope you all are healthy and are doing well. And if you are, then just be grateful for what you have. Because I feel like everything is so temporary in life. One moment it's there, the next it's not. So just cherish it while it's there. Remember to be grateful for other good things that may exist in your life. And if you have a great set of friends, a great community, an amazing support system, then be very, very grateful for that. And if you don't, then build that support system. It's never too late. But as I said, I don't think human beings can survive without a strong support system. And my experience recently is a true example of that. As I said, had I been alone, I don't know how I would have gotten to the ER. I don't know how I would have survived that night in excruciating pain. I don't know how I would have just been alone at my apartment and going through depressive phases in life. I mean, one of my friends has come and she's, sleeping over this week to just help me with chores and with other things. So I wouldn't have had that support, and managing this whole injury would have been possible, but it wouldn't have been ideal. And another thing I want to say is that if you see a friend who is in need and is going through a difficult time, take that opportunity to do everything you can for them, because I think that's God's way of putting you in a position where you can be of help to others. Is such a big blessing. I think that is something very, very special because God handpicked you and made you one of the few people to take care of another human being. And I think that is such a huge honor. So don't take that lightly and try to take care of them in the best way possible without keeping tabs, without being transactional that, oh, I'm doing XYZ for you today and then I expect this from you tomorrow. Without those expectations, just on a human level. Just be there for them in a way you would like them to be there for you, or in a way you would like to be taken care of, God forbid, if you were in their shoes. And on that note, I think I talked a lot this episode. I mean, there was a lot to share. We've been having a lot of needle jokes with my friends. Like, I'm feeling pins and needles in my foot. I mean, there's a literal needle. So we've joked a lot about this. If you have any needle jokes, feel free to share. This experience has probably taught me a lot, and I hope I get back to embroidery. If you you guys want me to share the final embroidery that I had finished, I would love to share that with you all. Let me know if you would like to see that, or if you would like to see my bloody foot with a piece of thread hanging out from it. I'm just kidding. Well, I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Even if you have no plans this weekend and are just chilling in bed, remember you don't have a needle in your foot. Remember you're doing good health-wise. So there's still a lot to be grateful for. Life doesn't always have to be happening and doing 10 things at the same time. I think this is me talking to me more than me talking to you guys. So, but yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful weekend and a great week ahead. Please send me prayers. My surgery's this coming Monday. I hope it goes well. I'm really nervous. I've never had a surgery before. I've been told it's a minor surgery, but they're gonna sedate me. So I don't know, that whole thing just scares me, and I've never gotten stitches. So it's like my first time. Inshallah, I hope everything goes well. I have high hopes, and I cannot wait for the needle to be out of my foot in about T-3 days. So yeah, today marks 1 week of the needle being in my foot. Okay, that's it. I'm gonna stop talking about the needle in my foot. If there's any other things that you think this experience has helped you understand, or any lessons that I should learn from this experience, please feel free to send them my way. I hope you get to enjoy summers and go outside and enjoy the nature. Have a lovely day. Take care, and until next time, bye.